Asatita sanasikare dharani tavalagna sasenika lanka kaleva nimagna kesavadita sukara rupa jai jagadesha hare bolo pralaya pabodhi jale vidvan asivedam vitra vahitra charitam akedam keshavadita nina sarira jaya jagadesha hare keshavadita nina sarira jaya jagadesha hare Tavakara kamalavare nakamadabhuta singham Garita hiranyakashipu tanuvingam Keshavajita nahari rupa jai jagadesha hare bolo pralaya pabodhi jale jitavan asivedam vitra vahitra charitam akedam keshavadita nina sarira jai jagadesha hare one more time keshavadita nina sarira jai jagadesha hare Chalayasi vikramane palimadabhuta vamana padanakka nirajanita jana pavana keshavadita vamana rupa jaya jagadesha hare bolo pralaya pabodhi jale gitavan asivedam vitra vahitra charitam akedam keshavadita nina sarira jaya jagadesha hare one more time bolo keshavadita nina sarira jaya jagadesha hare Shatriya rudira maye jagat apagata tapam Snapayasi payasi samita bhavatapam Keshavajita bhrigupati rupa jaya jagadesha hare bolo pralaya pabodhi jale jitavan asivedam vitra vahitra charitam akedam keshavadita nina sarira jaya jagadesha hare keshavadita nina sarira jaya jagadesha hare Vitarasi dikshurani dik patid mamaniyam Tasamukha moli balim ramaniyam Keshavadita rama sarira jai jagadesha hare pralaya pabodhi jale jitavan asivedam vitra vahitra charitam akedam keshavadita triguna sarira jaya jagadesha hare keshavadita vina sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Vahasiva Pusi Visade Vasanam Jaladabam Halahati Biti Milita Yamunabam Keshavajita Halatara Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Keshavajita Halatara Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Pralaya Pamudi Jale Jitava Asivedam Vitrava Hitra Charitam Akedam Keshavajita Vina Sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Bolo Keshavajita Vina Sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Nindasi Yagder Vider Aha Shruti Jatam Sadaya Hridaya Darshita Pasugatam Keshavajita Buddha Sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Bolo Keshavajita Buddha Sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Pralaya Prabhuti Jale Jalanasi Vedam Hitra Vahitra Charitam Akedam Keshavajita Vina Sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Keshavajita Vina Sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Malachani Mahanidane Kalayasi Karabalam Drumaketumiva Kimapi Karalam Keshavajita Kalki Sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Bolo Bolo Balaya Prabhuti Jale Jitavan Asivedam Vitrava Hitra Charitam Akedam Keshavajita Vina Sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Bolo Keshavajita Vina Sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Pralaya Prabhuti Jale Jitavan Asivedam Vitrava Hitra Charitam Akedam Keshavajita Vina Sarira Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Bolo Shri Jayadeva Kaveri Idam Uditam Udaram Shrinu Sukhadam Subhadam Bhavasaram Keshavajita Dasavida Krupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Bolo Pralaya Prabhuti Jale Jitavan Asivedam Vichravahitra Charitam Akeda Kesavajika Mina Sarira Jai Jagadeesha Hare Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Molo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Dasavatar Sutra Ki Jai. So these are the different major avatars of Krishna. And it says, O Keshava, Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a fish, all glories to you. You easily acted as a boat in the form of a giant fish just to give protection to the Vedas, which had become immersed in the turbulent sea of devastation. O Hari, who have assumed the form of a tortoise, all glories to you in this incarnation as a divine tortoise. The great Mandara mountain rests upon your gigantic back as a pivot for churning the ocean of milk. From holding up the huge mountain, a large scar-like depression is put on your back, which has become most glorious. O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a boar, all glories to you. The earth, which had become immersed in the Garbhodaka ocean at the bottom of the universe, sits fixed upon the tip of your tusk like a spot upon the moon. O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of half man, half lion, all glories to you. Just as one can easily crush a wasp between one's fingernails, so in the same way, the body of the wasp-like demon Hiranyakashipu has been ripped apart by the wonderful pointed nails on your beautiful lotus hands. O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana, all glories to you. O wonderful dwarf, by your massive steps you deceive King Bali, and by the Ganges water that has emanated from the nails of your lotus feet, you deliver all living beings within this world. O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Brigupati, Parashurama, all glories to you. At Kurukshetra you bathe the earth in the rivers of blood from the bodies of the demoniac Kshatriyas that you have slain. The sins of the world are washed away by you, and because of you, people are relieved from the blazing fire of material existence. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Ramachandra, all glories to you. In the battle of Lanka you destroy the 10-headed demon Ravana and distribute his heads as a delightful offering to the presiding deities of the 10 directions, headed by Indra. This action was long desired by all of them who were much harassed by this monster. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Balarama, the wielder of the plow, all glories to you. On your brilliant white body you wear garments the color of a fresh blue rain cloud. These garments are colored like the beautiful dark hue of the river Yamuna, who feels great fear due to the striking of your plowshare. O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Buddha, all glories to you, O Buddha of compassionate heart. You decry the slaughtering of poor animals performed according to the rules of Vedic sacrifice. O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Kalki, all glories to you. You appear like a comet and carry a terrifying sword for bringing about the annihilation of the wicked barbarian men at the end of the Kali Yuga. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed these 10 different forms of incarnation, all glories to you. O readers, please hear this hymn of the poet Jayadeva, which is most excellent, an awarder of happiness, a bestower of auspiciousness, and is the best thing in this dark world. O Lord Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you, who appear in the forms of these 10 incarnations. In the form of Matsya, you rescue the Vedas, and as Kurma, you bear the Mandara mountain on your back. As Varaha, you lift the earth with your tusk, and in the form of Narasingha, you tear open the chest of the Daitya Hiranyakashipu. In the whole universe, from him, In the form of Vamana, you trick the Daita King Bali by asking him for only 3 steps of land, and then you take away the whole universe from him by expanding your steps. As Parasuram, you slay all the wicked Kshatriyas, and as Ramachandra, you conquer the Rakshasa king Ravana. In the form of Balarama, you carry a plow with which you subdue the wicked and draw toward you the river Yamuna. As Lord Buddha, you show compassion toward all living beings suffering in this world. And at the end of the Kali Yuga, you appear as Kalki to bewilder the Malechas, the degraded low-class men. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Dasavatara ki jai. Let's take these. This. Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Mukunda Murari Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Bolo Jai Jai Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Karuna Sagara Kamalaya Nayaka Karuna Sagara Kamalaya Nayaka Kam Kamabara Dari Gopala Kam Kamabara Dari Gopala Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Bolo Jai Jai Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Bolo Jai 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 Krishna Mukunda Murari Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Bolo Jai Jai Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari Bolo Jai Jai Kariya Madana Kamsa Nisudana Kariya Madana Kamsa Nisudana Kamala Yadala Nayana Gopala Kamala Yadala Nayana Gopala Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo Jai Jai. Gopi Janamana Mohan Vyapaka, Gopi Janamana Mohan Vyapaka, Govala Yadala Nila Gobala, Govala Yadala Nila Gobala, Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo Jai Jai Krishna, Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo Jai Jai, Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Jai Jai. Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo 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 Jai Jai. Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo Jai Jai, Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo Jai Jai. Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, 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 Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo 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 Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo Jai Jai Krishna Mukunda Murari, Bolo Jai Jai Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Rama Hare Hare. Bolo Hari Bol, Ora Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Krishna Mukunda Murari, Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Give me that. My dear Lord Chaitanya, please be merciful to me, because who can be more merciful than your Lordship within these three worlds? Your incarnation is just to reclaim the conditioned souls, fallen souls, but I assume that you will not find a greater fallen soul than me. Therefore, my claim is first. My dear Lord Nityananda, you are always joyful in spiritual bliss. Since you always appear very happy, I have come to you because I am most unhappy. If you kindly put your glance over me, then I may also become happy. My dear Advaita Prabhu, husband of Sita, you are so kind. Please be merciful to me. If you are kind to me, naturally Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda will also be kind to me. Lord Chaitanya's love embodiment is shown by Gadadhar Pandita. Srinivas Pandita and Haridas Thakur are the ocean of mercy. O Swarup Damodar, personal secretary, Lord Chaitanya. O six Goswamis, O Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Raghunath Das Goswami. O Lokanath Goswami, my beloved spiritual master. Narottama Das also prays for your mercy. O Srinivasacharya, successor to the six Goswamis, please be merciful to me. Narottama Das always desires the company of Ramachandra Chakravati. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kora More Toma Bina Ke Dolayu Jagata Samsare. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kora More Toma bina ke dalayu jagata samsare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara Mosamapatita Prabhu Napaibe Ara Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara Mosamapatita Prabhu Napaibe Ara. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi, Kipa Balo Kana Koro, Ami Boro Dukhi. Hava Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi, Kipa Balo Kana Koro, Ami Dukkha Pukhi. Chaitanya Prabhu Goya Goramore, Toma Bina Kedolayu Jagat Samsare. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Goya Goramore, Toma Bina Kedolayu Jagat Samsare. Toya Kurasita Pati Advaita Gosai, Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nidai. Toya Kurasita Pati Advaita Gosai, Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nidai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gora Prema Maya Tanu Pandita Gadhara, Srinivasa Haridasa Yoyara Sagara. Gora Prema Maya Tanu Pandita Gadhara, Srinivasa Haridasa Yoyara Sagara. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha, Mata Yuga Shri Jiva, Ha Prabhu Lokanatha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Haha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Patayuga Shijiva Abhuloganada Doya Kurosiya Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Ramachandra Sangamaje Narottamodasa Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Pitai Gaura Premanandi Ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavad Gita Grantaraj Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavatam Rakraj Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we're going to hear about environmentalism from the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, written 5,000 years ago. Okay. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the quintessential scripture, the greatest spiritual scripture in the history of the universe, not just the earth, the whole universe. This text is spoken and studied even by the Devatas. And all subjects are discussed in this Bhagavatam that are pertinent to helping a person become liberated from the cycle of birth and death. This is the most important knowledge. You cannot be liberated by IT technology. If anything, you'll be more entangled. You cannot be liberated by nuclear bombs. You cannot be liberated from the cycle of birth and death by any medical practice. But you can be liberated definitively from the cycle of birth and death by studying the knowledge that's in this one book. And this knowledge is so precious, so powerful, that it has been existing for over 5,000 years. And it will continue to exist because everything in it is pure truth. So, in the Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse number 40, the solution to all environmental problems is given. You don't have to read big books. You only have to read one page, and the whole solution is here. It explains what has caused environmental, let's call it contamination, and it explains also how easily it could be rectified. So, 5,000 years ago, Kunti Devi, the mother of the Pandavas, spoke wonderful prayers to Lord Krishna. And this is one of the prayers. It's in the 8th chapter of the 1st canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. These prayers by Kunti Devi are some of the most profound prayers in the history of the world. And she was a truly exceptional woman. If women want to read about an exceptional woman, instead of reading about Gloria Steinem and other low-class women, it's better to read about Kunti Devi. She is one of the greatest saintly women in the whole history of the world. Ramanujacharya himself said that he derived great pleasure by reading the prayers of Kunti Devi. And many great acharyas also have benefited by reading these prayers and trying to understand them. So in the 1st canto, 8th chapter, 40th verse, Kunti Devi prays, Ima jana pada sridaha supakshvosh sadi virudaha vanadri nad udan banto hi edante tava vikshitahai. And she says, all these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. So she's speaking to Krishna. And Krishna was present 5,000 years ago in the battle of Kurukshetra. And after the battle was over, Kunti is speaking these wonderful prayers, glorifying the Lord. And basically she's telling the Lord, look, we were in trouble for so many years, and you were close to us all the time. But now this war is over, the battle is finished, but you're leaving us. And she says, please give us back all our troubles so you'll stay with us. You see how much, actually in adversity, we come closer to God. In happiness, we have the tendency of forgetting God. In adversity, we come closer to God. And here Kunti Devi is saying, when everything was going very badly for us, you were always with us. Now everything is over, you want to leave. You want to go back to Dwarka with the Gujaratis. We don't like that. You stay with us here in Hastinapur, in Delhi. See? So, anyway, she didn't say that, but Dwarka is in Gujarat. But she loves Krishna so much that she's willing to put up with all kinds of difficulties again, just so Krishna can stay. But she's saying, look, now all these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth, and all this is due to your glancing over them. So, in the one-page commentary, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada writes, now listen very carefully, boys, because he's going to outline why there's environmental contamination, and he's also going to explain the solution to the whole problem. This is what you call real literature. In one page, the biggest problem in the world today is easily solved. You see, you don't have to write big volumes of books. You just have to know what the cause is and what the remedy is. So, in the purport, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada writes, human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of a godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general. Although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation, The natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, rivers, meaning clean rivers, and hills full of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls, are supplied by the order of the Supreme, and as he desires, material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish on them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over material nature. The more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reaction of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse and killing poor animals? A man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of river waters fertilizes the fields, meaning rivers naturally flood, and they carry the silt and minerals from the mountains down to the valleys, and when they flood, they fertilize the land. You don't have to buy fertilizer in Home Depot. See? You don't have to buy pesticides in Home Depot. You just let nature do its job. See? You don't try and control the rivers. Rivers naturally are meandering. They're not meant to go in straight lines. See? And don't put embankments on the rivers. They're going to naturally flood. It's a part of nature. And when they flood, they fertilize the field. See, that's the natural way. So don't build cities on the banks of rivers. Take them back far away. Leave the farmland on the banks of the rivers and trees. And that way the rivers flow naturally, and they bring down all the minerals from the mountain, and they'll naturally fertilize the field. They only flood once a year, maybe for a week or two, and after that they rescind. So it's a natural process. So here it says, minerals are produced in the hills and the jewels in the ocean. It says, the flow of river waters fertilizes the fields, and there is more than what we need. Minerals are produced in the hills and the jewels in the ocean. If the human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men? But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. The indications by Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural prosperity be maintained by His grace. Now, natural prosperity, that's the key word here. People used to live by natural prosperity. This industrial revolution only took place 150, 160 years ago. Before that, these big industries did not exist. But people existed, you see. They lived. They had families. They had children. In fact, they had big families. Sometimes 10 children, 12 children, 15 children. And they raised them. And they fed them. And they educated them, not in perverted ways, but in natural ways. They taught the kids how to be self-sustaining on the farm, how to milk cows, how to thresh wheat, how to plant wheat, and so forth. And people lived happily. They lived in spiritual consciousness. They lived simple lives. They didn't need a lot of money, and they produced everything they needed by the mercy of God. And the weather cooperated with them. Nature cooperated with them because they lived piously. And this is explained in Bhagavad Gita. In the 3rd chapter, Krishna says, Sahayagya prajasristva pururava prajapati ananya san parsavistvadvam Esavosvista Kamaduk, 3rd chapter, 10th verse of the Bhagavad Gita, and says, in the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures, meaning Krishna or his expansion Vishnu, sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu. Sacrifices meaning yagyas. And bless them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yagya," or sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. So this is the plan of God. He wants us to live happily, have everything that everything that we need, and at the end of life, not take birth again, but go back to Godhead. That's the plan. That's the natural way of living. However, and also it's explained here that in the first age called Satya Yuga, the sacrifice or yagya that was recommended was meditation. In the second age, Treta Yuga, the recommended method was very opulent sacrifices, fire sacrifices. And those fires were so opulent and so grandiose that the Devatas could see them in outer space. Imagine how much ghee they had to use to make such a fire. And it required a lot of natural wealth to do that. You'd have to have thousands of cows to make enough ghee to perform those sacrifices. And then in the Dwapara Yuga, the recommended process was deity worship. And in Kali Yuga, this age of hypocrisy and quarrel, where spiritual life is very difficult because, number one, our duration of life is not very long, maximum 100 years, but most people die way before that. Secondly, we are always disturbed by different situations in life. Third, we're lazy. Fourth, our mental faculties are not so great. And fifth, there are always natural cataclysmic events such as hurricanes and windstorms and earthquakes and tsunamis and pestilence and economic downturns and war, and we go down the list. There's so many things that disturb us. So we're always in an unsteady state. So Krishna is saying here that if we, he says that the Lord created this material world to enable conditioned souls to learn how to perform yagyas or sacrifices for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in the material world they can live very comfortably without anxiety, and after finishing the present material body they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program for the conditioned soul. By performance of yagya or sacrifices, the conditioned souls gradually become Krishna conscious and become godly in all respects. In the age of Kali, or Kali Yuga, the age that we're living in now, the Sankirtan Yagya, the chanting of the names of God, is recommended by the Vedic literatures. And this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of all men in this age, men and women in this age. Sankirtan Yagya and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna, in his devotional form as Lord Chaitanya, is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, 32nd verse, where it says, "In the age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yagya. Other yagyas, or sacrifices, prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not easy to perform in this age of Kali, but the Sankirtan Yagya is easy and sublime for all purposes, as recommended in Bhagavad Gita also." So, this chanting of Hare Krishna is extremely important if you want to have a relatively easy life, easy meaning not be plagued all the time by troubles, and give you time to have spiritual activities like coming to the temple, chanting Hare Krishna, being able to hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and offering service to Krishna. It's very important that we do these things. In fact, 5 things are recommended that we should do every day. Number 1 is associate with real devotees, devotees who are actually sincere in practicing Krishna consciousness. 2, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. 3, regularly hear every day Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by bona fide devotees. Number 4, live in a holy place. Well, you might not be able, you're in the United States, so you're not living in Tirupati or Srirangam or Vrindavan. However, the temple is also non-different than Vrindavan. So, therefore, move closer to the temple and come every day, have darshan, and dance, and have nice prasadam, and hear Bhagavad Gita. And then number 5, engage in deity worship. If you can't come to the temple every day, then we'll train you to have your own deities in your home and worship them with your family. These 5 things are recommended to be done every day. If you do these 5 things every day, you will have a very evolved spiritual life. And you'll be environmentally friendly. You will not have a negative carbon imprint on nature. See? So this purport today, 1.8.40, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, explains the cause of environmental catastrophe and the easy solution. And this is not something new. Basically what it's saying, we should go back to living like we did before the Industrial Revolution, before IT and social media became so prominent in our lives. We should go back to living with our families, with 3, 4, sometimes 5 generations in the family compound, with the ancestral lands, and going back to learning how to be self-sufficient, not depending on Safeway and Costco and different stores like that. You can produce everything you need wherever you live in the world if you have a little bit of knowledge and have continuity, generational continuity, when you pass on knowledge of how to live off the land to the next generation. And protecting the cows and respecting brahmanas and protecting women and children and elders. These are the secrets to having a peaceful, happy life and being protected by the mercy of God or Krishna. So it says here that the more we go on increasing troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of people in general, although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation. So this is the problem. And more on the political scene, whether it's in the United States, India, or Europe, the disparity between very, very rich people and the normal people who live sometimes check to check every month is becoming more and more acute. And people are noticing it. That's why you have Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and AOC and all these people screaming that there should not be any billionaires. If you elect us, we're going to take the money away from them and distribute it to everyone. They're going to be the super Santa Claus, right? Giving away everything and ripping off the billionaires. Well, that's not a solution either. The solution is going back to the original Vedic culture. In the Vedic culture, yes, there were very opulent kings, but the kings were devotees, and they were called Rajarsis. They were devotees of the Lord. And whatever they collected in taxes, they would redistribute it to the people by organizing massive yagyas or sacrificial ceremonies and distributing profusely dan or charity. So they would gift cows to brahmanas and that were decorated with gold and silver and emeralds and jewels and diamonds. And the brahmanas would distribute this wealth. They had vows of poverty, so they did not try and accumulate wealth. They would distribute that tremendous wealth to the people, because they lived with the people. They did not live in big mansions. They lived in very humble huts with their family, and they gave free education to children in the village, and everyone was living peacefully. In fact, I showed a movie a couple months ago made by the British over 100 years ago of a typical village in Tamil Nadu. And it was a self-sufficient village only 100 years ago. They produced everything in the village. Every night they would go to the temple and have kirtan. Every morning they would go to the temple before going out to the fields. They made their own cloth. They grew their own grains and vegetables. They had sumptuous milk and ghee and paneer and yogurt. And they lived happy lives. The men lived sometimes to be 100, 110 years old and working all those years. They didn't have heart attacks, they didn't have diabetes, they didn't have cancer, and they didn't have a lot of money, but they didn't need a lot of money because they produced everything they needed, and they helped each other. And in one family, there would be 3, 4, 5 generations living together in the family compound, so they would work together. And this was a natural life, and the life was called Daiva Varnashram. It was centered around the temple, just like this community now is Daiva Varnashram. That means that there are many, many people living around this temple in a 5-mile perimeter that come regularly to the temple almost every day. And they take advantage of the classes for the kids and for the adults. They take advantage of the artis and all the different services that we have here, and the prasadam. There's prasadam every day, and in that way, sometimes people spend even more time in the temple than they do at home. Why? Because that balances material life. If you're spending 8 to 10 hours working, you should spend at least 1 or 2 hours doing spiritual things in your life, and on the weekend much more than that. So that is the life. You can ask some of the regular devotees that come here. Many of them spend hours and hours every week in the temple doing services, and it balances off their life so that they don't go too far into materialism and exploitation. So this is the natural way of life that was recommended by Krishna. And if we adopt this, and we can adopt it, this is the goal of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. That's why we're establishing temples. We're opening a new temple in Bellevue very soon, by May of next year. It's bigger than this temple. And we're going to open more temples also in the Seattle area. My plan is to have 4 major temples in Seattle. And we already have 2 farms and 1 school, but we're going to open many more schools and many more farms. In fact, we want to build the entire supply chain of a major, let's say, dairy and vegetable production scheme or organization, a major cooperative where our children can be educated to fit into the supply chain. See? So this is to preserve Vedic culture and to grow it in the United States. And it's very possible. In fact, it's easier to do it here than in India. It's actually easier to do it here than in India. Because there are still enough pious people in this country, not all Hindus, of course. There are very pious Christians and very pious Jews and Muslims and so forth, and Hindus. That's why the whole country is still being held together. If the children keep being educated by the material educational system in this country, pretty soon there won't be any pious people. They'll all be completely overwhelmed with making money and spending it on their own selfish purposes. But if Krishna consciousness spreads, we can create Vaikuntha on the earth. And by this process, people can have a natural life where they live without being overburdened by materialism, and they have time for spiritual life, time to educate their kids in the values of Sanatana Dharma, and at the moment of death, go back to Godhead. That's the whole plan. We are here because somehow or other we chose to separate ourselves from God, and we have some limited free will, and we chose to walk away from God, to come down from the spiritual world into the material world, which is like a prison. But a prison is a reformatory institution. It's not meant to keep prisoners forever. And if we take advantage of our intelligence and our senses and our body and use them, and as they say in Sanskrit, pranay artha diya vacha. One should live by using their life, their money, their knowledge, and their words in the service of God. Pranay, artha, diya, and vacha. All these things should be used in the service of God. And if we do that, then we become purified. And gradually, as we surrender to the Lord, yeyatamam papadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mamavart manavartante manusya partha sarvasaha. Krishna reveals himself to the devotee, and you can actually see spiritual reality. In fact, I've written a book called The Fourth Dimension, how you enter into the fourth dimension of consciousness, where you actually can see, like Sanjay in the Bhagavad Gita, what's going on in the spiritual world. He was sitting in Delhi with Dhritarashtra, and he was explaining to him what was happening in Kurukshetra in real time. And he was able to see and hear the discussion between Krishna and Arjuna. That is the fourth dimension. That is a possibility for every human being. If we don't get dumbed down by social media, by materialistic education, and by sense gratification, but we use our senses, our mind, our life, our words, our intelligence to understand Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, we can enter into that fourth dimension even now, while we're living in this body, and go back to Godhead at the end of life. So that's the program. And here, in one page, there's the solution to the whole environmental problem, the cause of it and the solution to it. That's how great this literature is. And it's not an undoable thing. You might say, "Oh, what do you mean? We're going to tear down all our factories? Well, how about what kind of work are the people going to do?" Well, they're going to go back to living the natural life that they actually want to live. Every one of these rich people, these billionaires, what do? They buy a farm or they buy a lot of land in Hawaii or in Idaho or Montana, and they build a big wall around it, and they hire some gunmen to protect their property, and they grow their own food, like Oprah Winfrey. She has her vegetarian garden in her mansion that costs $150 million in California, right? She grows her own food, right? She has her own water, and she has a gigantic house, and she's trying to live a natural life. In fact, she tried to convince people at one point on the television not to eat meat, but she got sued by the meat industry, so she shuts her mouth now about that. And all these rich people, they want to go back to living a natural life. But you don't have to be rich to live a natural life. You have to make the decision to do it. So therefore, we teach people. We're going to have a health fair on the 11th of January here, in which there's going to be a bunch of seminars and demonstrations of healthy living, even in a big city like Seattle. And all different techniques by which you can rid your house of all toxic materials that cause cancer. And there are many. There's a long list of them. If you read the Ananda Mela book, I wrote an article called 5 Steps to Optimal Health. And one of those steps is eliminating everything toxic in the house. Those toxic things cause cancer. Cancer is caused by being exposed to toxic things. And there are many toxic things in a modern house. You have to learn what they are. Once you learn what they are, you're shocked that your whole house is surrounded by, and you're living inside the house with a lot of toxic materials, including supplements, including perfumes, including foods, including all kinds of things that are detrimental to your liver and to your blood and eventually cause cancer. High blood pressure and cardiac problems. Okay, so come to our health fair on the 11th of January in the temple. And also, if you don't have Bhagavad Gita, if you don't have Srimad Bhagavatam, get it right away. We have sets of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam for only $250, and Bhagavad Gita costs $10. And come to our classes. We have many classes every day on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And then you'll see how wonderful these two literatures are. You don't have to read anything else. You don't have to be a bookworm. You just study one book and learn it, you become knowledgeable. Just like the Muslims study only one book, the Quran, and the rest of their life they're giving all kinds of lectures and preaching. And the Christians, they study one book, the Bible. Their whole life they're talking, they're giving lectures, they're preaching this, preaching that. But we have even greater literature. It's called Bhagavad Gita. Only 700 verses in the Bhagavad Gita, and it has the complete knowledge of the whole Vedas. This is the greatest book existing in the universe, and it's spoken directly by God himself, by Krishna. Even the Bible is not spoken by Krishna. Even the Quran is not spoken by Allah. It's spoken by Archangel Gabriel to Muhammad. But Bhagavad Gita is Krishna himself speaking to Arjuna and to all of us. This is the greatest literature that's ever been given to mankind. But we should realize how valuable it is. Okay, so the real wealth is cows, grains, clean water, and minerals, and jewels, and having, land that's not contaminated. Just like in Washington State, you have a place called Hanford. Hanford is about 300 miles from here. All the toxic waste from all the atomic experiments the United States made, and all the bombs, atomic bombs that they exploded while they were experimenting in Utah and other places in the West, all that toxic waste is in Washington State, in Hanford. It's been there for 70 years now, and they put it in these metal drums, and they bury it under the ground. Many of those metal drums have rotted, and now there's seepage of radiation coming out. So this is the problem. Washington State is a beautiful state. There's so many trees, so many rivers and lakes, but yet it is a place where most of the toxic waste from World War II is being stored. Can you believe that? See? So we need to be aware of where we're living and how to make our living space safe for our family. That's why many people nowadays, even children, get cancer. How is that possible? It's because unwittingly we expose them to toxic things. In fact, when a child is born in the United States, and the first day the doctor tells you, we got to give your child a shot, an injection, because the child has jaundice and they have to get a shot. And usually we trust the doctors and we think it's okay. And the child gets a shot, and previously that injection contained a mercury alloy. Now mercury is a poison, right? Now imagine a one-day-old child gets an injection of a mercury-laced liquid that goes directly into their bloodstream. Now, what do you think happens? First of all, you're not the one doing the shot. It's somebody you don't know, a nurse that you don't know. What if they make a mistake and give a little too much? That's why previously autism was like 1 in 1,000 kids. Now it's 1 in 70 kids. That it's unheard of, such an outbreak of autism in this country. But it's because of these type of practices. And people unwittingly say yes, because they trust the doctors. But now, in a recent poll in the news last week, there was a new poll in which now 3/4 of the people in the country prefer natural supplements to pharmaceutical medicines. Why? Because they're seeing that these pharmaceuticals are money-making products for big companies and doctors, but many of them have serious side effects. Whereas natural supplements, if they're actually natural and not contaminated, they don't have side effects usually. See? So anyway, these are some points that we're discussing today. Does anyone have any questions? These are all controversial points, and it begs the question that does anybody have a question they would like to ask? And you know our rule, no question, at least one question, no eat. So ask one question. Spiritual life is questions and answers. Prabhu, you're a doctor. You're a doctor. Ask a question. You can't agree with everything I said. Give her a microphone, Nandaram.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I just walked in. I missed your lecture, but I do have a question. Can you tell a little bit more about false ego?
The false ego?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the false ego is something false, right? The ego is not false. Ego means I am. The false ego is I am a product of matter. There's no soul, there's just the body. That's called the false ego. And everything related to the body, I identify with. So, one body is Gujarati, other body is Punjabi, another body is Latino, another body is black, another body is Chinese, like that, you see. That's all false ego. One body is Telangana, another body is Andhra. Those are all false egos. Why is it false? Because it's not sat, it's not eternal. It's a temporary thing. This life you could be Telangana. Next life you could be Andhra. You see? This life you could be a human being in Andhra. Next life you could be a dog in Telangana. You see? So these are just bodies. That's not who we are. We have an eternal soul. So that in Sanskrit, when you say ahankar, I am a product of matter, that's false ego. But when you say aham brahmasmi, I am a pure spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, that's the real ego. So when you identify with your soul, that's the source of the consciousness in the body, then you develop your real ego. And what is that ego? The great saint Sanatana Goswami asked Lord Chaitanya, who am I exactly? And Lord Chaitanya said, Jivera Swarupahaya Nityera Krishnadas. Your real position, your real Swarup is that you're the eternal servant of Krishna, of God. That's our real identity. That's our real ego. But if you say, no, I'm the servant of my people, Swajanam, you know, my people. So in India, who is my people? Is it the Muslims? Is it the Hindus? Is it the Jains? Is it the Sikhs? So they all say my people. See? But no, they should say my soul and this relationship with God. Then we're one family. But if you say my people, my body people, then you all have, you're all bifurcated. You're all split into little sects. And you're all competing for the same things. Just like the Jews and the Palestinians are competing for the same land. So obviously there's going to be a fight. And Kali, we say Punjab for the Punjabis, right? Well, you're going to be fighting because Punjab is part of Pakistan, is part of India. So therefore there's got to be a fight. Just like the Kurds, there's Kurds in Iran, there's Kurds in Iraq, there's Kurds in Syria, there's Kurds in Turkey. They want their own nation. But they're going to have to fight the Iranians, the Iraqis, the Syrians, and the Turks to get their country. You see? So this Swajanam, my people, it is a false idea. It's false ego. Okay? Okay, any other questions? Yes.
Maharaj, you mentioned the Hanford site.
Yes.
In the Benton County.
Yes.
Reading over it. So,
You didn't know about it?
I didn't know, but you mentioned that in the past. But
See, that's why you should come to the class. You can learn a lot of important things. Go ahead.
Cleanup has been going for 20 years.
Yeah.
And God knows for how many years it will go on. So, I mean...
Well, wait a minute. When they say cleanup, but first of all, if you learn about radioactive isotopes, it takes 10,000 years for them to break down. So what kind of cleanup are they doing, right?
They're calling it...
That's a euphemism.
Yeah.
That's they're not really doing any cleanup. They're doing damage control. Okay, so what's the question?
Yeah, so the question was like, don't these politicians know that people's education level is going up now? People are not fools. So who are they fooling? I mean...
Ask the question again.
Yeah, so the question is like the Hanford site, the nuclear decommission site you talked about, which stores the nuclear waste. It has been producing nuclear stuff for many years in the past. So you mentioned...
Leakages.
Leakages, yeah. So I was just reading on the site and it says that the Hanford site has been, the cleanup has been going for 20 years. And then it will go for many, many years. But as you said, that you cannot practically, you know...
cleanup is a euphemism, Prabhu. What
Right.
kind of cleanup they're doing? The isotope takes 10,000 years
Right.
to break down. So what kind of cleanup they're doing? They're doing damage control. That's all they're doing.
Right. And the people, now they should, the politicians and the government should understand that the people, they are getting smarter and smarter. Now at the single click, they can read information, right, on phones and on gadgets. So it's not very clear, like, who exactly are they fooling and what exactly are they trying to do.
Now, wait a minute. Why do you think George Soros and other politicians and rich people made marijuana legal in the United States? Why do you think they did that? Huh? You have any idea?
Because there is a demand?
No, because it makes people dumb. So you're saying they're getting smarter. I'm saying they're getting dumber every day. Smoking marijuana, and by the way, there is an opioid epidemic in the United States. Those are legal intoxicating drugs being sold by major pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
Why do you think they make molecules like that? Because it makes people dumb and sick and dependent. The more people are dependent, the more they can be exploited. So that's what socialism and communism is. It makes people dependent. Right? Like the best example of it is the Obama phone. The Obama free cell phone. They have the same thing in India. This last election for Modi, what was the opposition promising the people? You tell me. Were you aware of what they were promising the people?
Lost count. No, I don't recall.
Okay, I know more about politics than you do. They were promised. Anybody know? Anyone can tell me what was being promised to the people by the opposition of Modi?
Yeah, they were promising, if I'm not wrong, they were promising, I don't remember the exact number, but they were promising certain returns that everybody will get some amount. I don't remember the exact number, Maharaj, but yes, there was a promise by the
They're
Congress.
promising you don't have to work. We'll give you money, you can just live. Right? I mean, how can they do that, right?
It was 12,000 rupees per month, something like that. It was.
Exactly. Now, if you're just a poor person and they're offering you 12,000 rupees a month, who are you going to vote for? And what happens? You become dependent. You're not going to work, right? And there's already a drug problem in India, right? And there's already AIDS in India, and there's already a lot of people they don't want to do farming anymore, right? So you see, you say people are getting more intelligent. No, they're getting dumbed down. They're not getting more intelligent, and they're making drugs legal all over the world now. They're making all kinds of pornography is legal. Pornography was not allowed in the United States. Only 30, 40 years ago, it was not allowed. You could get arrested, right? Now, everywhere. Every month, they do a survey of what pages or what sites on the internet are being visited the most. Every month, pornography is number one. Every month. It's not the news, it's not the sports, it's not the movies, it's pornography. So people are getting dumbed down. They're not actually getting more intelligent. Intelligent means you know the difference between the soul and the body. That's intelligence. You have jnana and vijnana. Ignorance means you're just concerned with the body. You're not interested in the soul. Okay, I'll stop there unless you have another question. That was a good question. And your question was excellent, Prabhu. Yeah. Anybody else? Don't be afraid. Okay, we'll have Arti. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Come to our health fair on the 11th of January. You're going to learn a lot. Jayo Jaya Gora Chande Arati Ke Soba Janavita Tavane Jagamana Loma Orangera Rutik Soba Jagajana Manaloha Gorangera Rutik Soba Jagajana Manaloha Subhadaki Nitayachan Vanengadadhara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasachadadhara Jayo Jaya Gora Chande Arati Ke Soba
Hare
Chandra Jini Bhadana Uddala Shri Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Premanande ki jai, jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Parajika Jastatara Satarashi Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem Shikoho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinda ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samkunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Mayapura Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai, Jamuna Maya ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gaurango. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So since we have a lot of birthdays today, and a lot of important events coming up, I'm going to announce right now who our Sunday feast sponsors are. First of all, there's Vishnu Marisami on the occasion of his birthday. And then there's Amit Shivatstava on the occasion of the memory of Shrimati Vandana Shivatstava's passing. And then there's Sunita Satish on the occasion of memory of the parents of Narayana and Yasoda's passing. Then there's Bitan Dev on the occasion of his birthday. There's Hruday Krishna Tunga Turti on the occasion of his birthday. And there's Midula Deshmukh on the occasion of his birthday. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 birthdays and 2 memories. Okay, and then upcoming events we have on December 21st, Saturday, I guess that's next weekend at 7:30. You better watch out. You better be good. You better not cry, 'cause I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's actually coming to Sammamish, direct from the North Pole. He's going to land on top of the temple with his reindeer and Mrs. Claus also. And he's got a big, big bag of gifts for all the kiddies. So everyone is welcome to come and see Santa Claus. He's the real Santa Claus. He chants Hare Krishna and dances. Yes. Haribol. And then on December 25th, 7:30 p.m., we have our Christmas appreciation dinner. Everyone's invited. It's a special dinner. And then on December 27th, 28th, and 29th, we have our Kirtan Mela with many Kirtaniyas coming here from different parts of the United States. And then on December 31st, we're going to celebrate New Year's Eve from 7 at night to 1 a.m. And then on January 1st, we're going to chant 10 million names of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that's Hare Krishna Mahamantra Yagya on January 1st to start off the new year. We're going to end up the 2019 with Kirtan Night, and then start it off with Harinam Sankirtan Yagya next year, 2020. And on January 11th, we have our Health Festival. So everyone's invited to that. I think it's from 12 to 4. So Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada Lada Dayini. Hiranyakashipu Vashahaya. Shilatam Kanakalaye. Donishinga Maya Donishinga. Yato Yato Yami Donishinga. Narashinamanim Sadanam Prapade. Kabakarat Kamalabale Nakam Abhutashika. Kalita Hiranyakashipu Danubinga. Eshamadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Jaya Jagadesha Jagadesha Hare. Kalita Hiranyakashipu Danubinga. Shivadev Bhagavan ki jai, Bhakti Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. So do we have a cake? No? Okay. Oh, there's a cake, yes.